A warning. Please stay away from the clinic. Written by Words of the Night. I'd seen the advert a couple of times now. It read, "Paid volunteers needed. Help advance medicine for those in need. No experience needed. Possibility to make over $100,000. It was followed by contact information. I was 3 beers in, and while it definitely seemed too good to be true, I sat there and considered calling the helpline. Ads like these never pan out, but $100,000 could really help me. And help my family. Sarah's room was in need of redecorating. The other day, she had detailed to me how much she hates pink now and would love a blue ocean-themed bedroom. 8-year-olds, right? Vic and I really could use a vacation, just the two of us. We could go back to Bali for our wedding anniversary. Maybe recreate some of that magic. Any magic, really. Of course, Socks would appreciate some new toys. I could even build him a doghouse with that kind of money. Heck, it could even have multiple rooms. Everyone was asleep. Sarah had been put to bed a few hours ago, and I can't remember the last time Vic and I fell asleep in each other's arms. I was always up late, worrying over something or other. So I picked up the phone, and I typed in the number, and I hit the call button. "Hello, this is the clinic. Thank you for calling. Please leave your name, number, and age. If you are a promising candidate, we'll get back to you as soon as possible." I sighed. See, it's too good to be true. Anyway, I left my details thinking, why not, and I hung up, expecting to never hear from them again. 2 minutes later, I cracked open another beer, and my phone buzzed. "Congratulations, Mr. Cedar. You have been screened and have been added to the candidate list for our upcoming trial." Thank you. Could I get some more details about what all of this is?" "Don't worry, Mr. Cedar. All of that will be explained. We have a slot for you on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Would that work for you?" Yeah, I'm available." I tried not to slur, tried not to let them hear me take another sip from the can. "Perfect. Now, I'll be sending the address directly to your phone. Make sure you don't eat for at least 8 hours before coming in, and only water up until 2 hours before your appointment. Then nothing. This is to make sure that your blood is in the most natural state, and that our tox screens will provide accurate results. Do you agree to these requirements, Mr. Cedar?" You need to take blood?" "Yes, Mr. Cedar. This trial requires a certain blood type. So, unfortunately, we will need some blood. Not much, I assure you. Our nurses are quite trained in making it as painless an experiment as possible, so don't you worry." "Okay, well, I guess I agree then. Sure, I'll do it." "Thank you, Mr. Cedar. We will contact you shortly." A few minutes after hanging up, I got the text. It was an address at an old industrial site around 40 minutes from where I lived. Not far. If I left work early, then I could be there and back before Vic got home from picking up Sarah. I didn't feel like opening up to her about our money problems, and this way, they might just solve themselves without her ever needing to worry. The day eventually rolled around. I told my boss that Sarah had the dentist. I starved myself all day and stopped drinking water at around 11 a.m., just in case. I was ready. The butterflies in my stomach didn't stop flying the whole drive there. I pulled into the parking lot just as my phone told me that I had reached my destination. Surrounded by dirty, old, grungy buildings with shattered windows and graffiti all over was a single, pristine white structure. It looked more like the shape of an art exhibit than a clinic. A little unsure, I stepped out of my car and walked up to the doors. They were locked. They used shaded glass, so I couldn't see inside, and for the life of me, I couldn't find a buzzer. I stood there for a moment. Nothing. The silence out here was so creepy. I couldn't help thinking that this would be a great place to lure someone. My eyes started jumping to the buildings around me. So many hiding places for a killer. I shrank into myself. I nearly jumped out of my skin. It was my phone. "Hello," I said as I answered.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cedar. If you could please face a little more to your right.
I turned, and I caught the mild reflection from the hidden camera.
Thank you, Mr. Cedar. Please come inside.
I tried the door again and was surprised to find it was now unlocked. I hadn't heard a sound, no mechanism or bolt moving. It was odd, just like the rest of this place. My thoughts flashed to the $100,000, to Vic in a bikini for the first time in years, on a beach, drinking a cocktail and laughing. I mean, really laughing, at some joke that I had just told her. So what if this place was a little weird? A little blood test, and maybe I could get to be the one to give that to her. Once inside, things got a little better. And by better, I mean at least there were human, living, breathing people. I was greeted with smiles and waves by the nurses out front, told to just take a seat and the doctor would be out to see me in a moment. Around 20 minutes went by, and I was finally called up to the desk. "Dr. P is ready for you now, if you would like to go through the door on the left." Her office was as white and as clean as the rest of the place. Even her uniform looked like dirt and dust just fell off it. I wanted to ask who their janitor was and whether they needed a second job, but I kept my mouth shut. "Welcome, Mr. Cedar. I'm so glad you could make it. I'm Dr. P. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. But first, let's get this little blood test out of the way. Nurse." In trotted a small man with soft hands. He held my arm and told me to look the other way. He asked if I had a child, and I told him about Sarah, who had turned 8 last month and was growing up way too fast. "All done, Dr. P," he said. Wow, really, I thought. I hadn't felt a thing. They weren't lying when they said that their nurses were really good at this. "Perfect. Now, on to you, Mr. Cedar. Do you have any questions for me?" "Well, actually, yeah, I kind of do. What is this trial for, and do I need to sign something?" "Oh, all in good time, Mr. Cedar. We will—" "You can call me Nathan, by the way," I interrupted her. "Okay, Nathan, like I said, let's not rush anything. We don't want to try to get you signing things when you can hardly hold your arms up, do we?" What? I tried. My arms were immovable, like they were made of bricks. I felt like I was a sinking stone in a mud pool. What was happening? A reaction to the blood test? Had they given me something? What was this? I needed to get out. I needed to call Vic, to call the police. But my vision was blurring, and Dr. P was standing and saying something, and I needed to listen. I had to focus on listening. What was she saying? "Oh, Nathan, don't worry. Miss Victoria and little Sarah will be just fine. You'll see them before you know it. Don't worry, Mr. Cedar. We will take such good care of you." I woke up in my car. My ears were ringing, my head was heavy, and my mouth felt like I had swallowed sand all day. I was in the same dirty, glass-filled parking lot. The only difference now was that the clinic was gone. There was no white structure, no doorway into sparkling halls. I checked my phone. It read 18 missed calls, 36 text messages, 4 voicemails. I looked at the time. It was only 5 p.m. Then my fuzzy head cleared a little and I realized the day. It was Friday. 3 whole days had been missing. 3 days of Vic worrying and Sarah wondering where her daddy was. The text messages were all from Vic, beginning nicely and ending with a threat of throwing my stuff out on the street. 2 of the voicemails were from her too, ranting and raving and generally cursing me out. The 3rd voicemail was also her, but it was different.
Nate, sorry about all the text and everything. Your boss just called. Told me he sent you on a last-minute assignment, and you idiot, left your phone. He said you did it to bring in extra money. I'm still mad at you, but maybe not as much. I love you. Come home soon. Sarah misses her daddy.
My boss called her. Maybe he was in on it, or maybe the clinic managed to trick her. I hovered over the last voicemail. It was from an unknown caller. I hit play.
Mr. Cedar.
I shivered involuntarily. It was her.
Dr. P here. So glad to see you made it through. If you're listening to this anyway. If not, I will assume you didn't make it, and no one will ever find your remains. Oh well, listen. If you did make it, don't worry. It's all over now. We will spend time now monitoring you from afar. No need to think that we will come looking for you. We're already here, silly. And by here, I mean everywhere. So, if you want Sarah's head to stay on her shoulders, and Miss Victoria's body not to be subject to torture, I would keep our little secret. Well, have a nice day, Mr. Cedar. Bye-bye for now.
I listened to the voicemail 8 times. The shakes didn't stop until the 5th time I played it. What was happening? What had I gotten into? I was so mad at myself for putting my girls in danger. So mad for even turning up to this sketchy, obscene place. So mad for not just talking to my wife and jeopardizing everything. I clicked Vic's name and sat, trying to breathe through the hysterics that were threatening to run up my throat like bile.
Nate! Finally got your phone back, I see. You're so silly. You know the saying about the head being screwed on, right? That's you.
Victoria said. Victoria.
Nate, are you okay? You sound funny.
I flashed back to the voicemail. Torture. Sarah. I'm all good, Vic. Just a little jet-lagged. You know. I should be home soon. What's for dinner? What's for dinner? Good one, Nate. Really strong conversation after 3 days, and you possibly being kidnapped, maybe almost dying, who knows? And now you're being stalked. And that's what you want to know? Great, great.
Well, I'm thinking a takeout to celebrate. Sarah is so excited she's almost jumping up and down. Hold on, I'll put her on.
No, Vic, no. I couldn't face it. I knew that hearing Sarah's voice right now would push me over the edge. It would break me. Not now. Let me get home and I'll talk to her then, I said.
Okay, honey. I'll see you soon then.
I'll see you soon. And Vic, I love you, I said.
I love you too,
she said, and she was gone. I think I sat there in my car, alone in an abandoned lot, for 30 minutes crying. I'm not usually emotional. I didn't understand it, but the tears flowed, and my mind raced. What did they do? I got out, stripped naked, checked my whole body over. I couldn't see anything apart from a small wound at the top of my spine, and one at the base. Maybe I hit my back when I passed out. Maybe they didn't do anything. Maybe this was all just scare tactics. Maybe everything will be okay. There were so many maybes. But what I was sure of, more than anything, was that I would follow their rules. I wouldn't say a word. Not to anyone. I wouldn't give my family any more pain based on my stupidity. I got home around 7 p.m. No one greeted me at the door. I was feeling woozy. I poured myself a tall glass of water and I looked for my family. I followed the sound of laughter to the living room where I found Sarah sat on the floor, making animal noises to my wife's intense amusement. "Daddy, you're home," she yelled, and she flung herself up and rushed to me. Just as she was within stepping distance, I felt it. A small tingle in my hands that spread to my arms and then to my chest. It covered my whole body. It grew from a tingle to vibrating until my whole body was shaking. I knew that something was wrong. My eyes flicked to Vix, and she saw it in me too. Saw the wrongness behind them. I didn't have time to call out, to stop Sarah from taking that last step, to crashing into her daddy's arms, into what should have been her safety net. The screaming went on for forever. Sarah's, mine, Vic's. I watched as my daughter made contact with my skin. I watched her flesh getting peeled away, stuck to mine by a substance so powerful that it ripped her down to the bone. Every contact point, every place where her skin touched mine, she was stripped. But it wasn't enough to kill her yet. She was screaming and bleeding so terribly. Our white rug was such a deep red now, and that shade was growing with every move, every attempt to pull away. I'll never forget her face, her eyes bulging and her lips half removed, now attached to my forearm. Vic ran at us. She tried tearing her daughter away from this monster that had just entered her home. But it wasn't just Sarah. Every touch tore gouges into my loving wife and Sarah's brave mother. She tried to get between us, and my body took chunks. Stomach, thighs, back. Pieces were being stuck to me and absorbed. Slowly absorbed within me. I could feel their skin inside me, their meat. I was tearing my family apart. It came to a climax when Socks lunged at me, his fur, skin, muscle, all being taken with every thrash of this pile of bodies. We lay on the floor, screaming for mercy, for this to stop as I tried to pull away, to end the torture of my everything. When it was over, I lay sobbing over their bled-out corpses. I wouldn't have recognized them if I hadn't been the eyewitness and the only survivor. I vomited in the kitchen sink as I felt their insides and outsides move around my body. What was happening? What had they made me?
Why, hello, Mr. Cedar. I hope you're keeping hydrated. Your procedure was quite intense, so we wouldn't want you falling ill. It's unfortunate, the little display, the minor event that just happened. But don't worry. It gave us excellent readings. You really are a little miracle case, it seems. Most patients don't survive their first bond. Now, down to business. I'm sure that you have many questions, but I'm here to tell you not to worry. Everything is under control. The cleanup crew will be there soon and will extract you to a secure location. Mr. Cedar? Mr. Cedar, are you there?
I had left after she said the word extract. I jumped in the car and I ran. Why doesn't my skin stick to everything? Why don't I stick to myself? These are questions that I wanted answers to, but I wasn't about to let them take me, to keep me. They may have caught me, but they don't know everything. They didn't have the foresight to know that they had just lost all of their bargaining chips. My whole world had just collapsed, and with it went any chance they had of controlling me. I drove and drove, not stopping, not looking behind me. I didn't think I could outrun them forever, but I could get a day or two, maybe even a week if I was smart. I know I haven't seemed it so far, but in a crunch, I was your guy. So here I am, telling my story of what they did to me to anyone who will listen. Have you seen them? Have you seen the little white building with the clinic printed on it, gleaming in a space that shouldn't gleam? Stay away from it. Always stay away from the clinic. If you're already involved, do you want revenge? If we come together, we might be able to stop them. If not, that's okay. I'll figure it out. I can only do this myself. But I needed to get this out there, if only to let them know this. I am not yours. I am free, and I am coming.